Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Western Canada Classics. We're out in a scrap pile of 100 years of stuff, and we're with Garry, the owner, and we're just going to do a little walk around and talk history of this stuff. I met Garry because we got a windmill out here and bought it off of him, or some parts, and that's where it was, right in here. And I just thought it'd be cool to talk about all this stuff, so that's why we're here.
So a lot of this stuff was used in the early years. They came here in '09. So there's cultivators, there's dump harrows, there's cultivators, seeders, ground-driven sickle mowers.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's one of the seeders. They were a double disc seeder.
The one in the back right there. Okay.
So this unit here was actually called a header.
Okay.
So what you did is the horses were ahead. And then it was like a swather. So the horses were over in the cut part.
Okay.
And then they'd pull it ahead. And then it would elevate the grain over. So there's probably 4 horses. So you sat back here on a seat and did your horse stuff here. But what we did is we wanted to turn it into a double swath unit. So we put a plow beam welded together to put the elevator for the grain, and it made a double swath thing out of it.
And the horses would have been up front of it.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah. No, they would have been here, sorry. They would have been back here.
Okay.
Yeah, they were here because the harness stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's where they would have hooked on there. And up here, what do we got here? A case?
No, that's a 570 cockshot.
Or cockshed? Okay.
Probably 61.
Okay. Decent size.
Yeah.
Motor's gone out of that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
570 cockshot.
570. And back here, what's this? A cab off of an old truck?
I think it's off an old Dodge truck of some kind.
And basically anything that you had here, you just put it up here when you guys were done with it.
Yeah, it started with Grandpa, my dad, and me. Here's a 1952 Plymouth frame body.
Okay.
It's a 2-door. You don't often see that.
Very cool. And this would have been a car from around the farm again?
No, it was bought for parts. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For a farm, or for a car that was around here.
That's right. And up there's a Studebaker.
Okay.
But you should come back here, Josh, and see this. This is
Here we go.
kind of what people like is a horse-drawn sickle mower, but the bar is gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I seen the bar around here when I was here last time.
Sure.
So, Plymouth. Hey, is that an old hubcap off of it? Yes. It's a funky looking one. I don't know what that hubcap is.
I think that's off of Desoto, because that's kind of the symbol.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
New Holland.
New Holland. I called it the old New Holland. It was not a good baler. It had a motor on it. Yeah. So that's a Studebaker. So Dad bought the Studebaker, took the frame out, and built a bunk car on top of it. So that's where that bunk car comes from. 1950 Dodge, 1 ton. We back in the day they used to dig pits with a pit digger.
Okay.
So we were going to use this for made it into it. Took the box and the hoist and everything and made a pit digger out of it, but that never got finished.
Got ya.
Lots of unfinished jobs.
But they're still here. You can finish them.
Yeah, I suppose you could. So we were working in the oil field, and our boss with ReserQuest Oil Company came up here for some valves or something. He spotted these 250 Dodges. He said, you guys should fix them up and use them for crew trucks. Yeah, right.
And this is the Studebaker?
That's the Studebaker, yeah. That would be about a 51 or 2, I think.
Okay. Not much interior left in these old girls.
Yeah.
Not much of anything.
Used for storage. Here's a self-propelled co-op combine, a 137.
Okay.
Dad bought it brand new in 1955. So what we did with this when we retired the combine is we would put on a re-cleaner, it was called.
Okay.
So you'd put your grain in there, and the clean grain would go in the hopper, and all your tailings and all that would go out the back end.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's a 1912 Studebaker.
Wow.
Yeah.
1912, that's...
That's incredible.
And look at the wheels still.
It had a... I guess that was a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, it is a 4-cylinder.
And see, they had the priming cups on them.
Yes.
You know, so you'd open that up and turn it over.
Put a little bit of gas in there and it would go straight into the cylinder then?
I
Or
get,
right
yeah,
I
probably.
guess. Yeah, that would work well. But look at the wheels on that thing. I can't. It's so dry.
Look at the fan belt.
Oh. Just get a couple more revolutions in her.
Yeah. I suppose these are brass. Totally.
Yeah. There you go. No more steering wheel. Wood floor.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this was going to be, somebody was going to fix it up, and then they couldn't find the parts for the rear end.
So it's
They kind of
it's
aborted
sat.
it.
Wow. Gotta love the dry Saskatchewan climate. Just keeps everything.
No kidding. It's like a desert.
Yeah, it is. You see cactus sometimes.
Yeah.
When I was up shooting that place in Lancer, there was cactus all over the buttes in there.
Oh,
It's
sure.
cool.
Yeah.
Or whatever you call that.
Yeah,
I call it
there's
cactus.
different kinds of cactus. One of Dad's first grain augers. It was a quap, they called it.
Yep.
And we actually put grain in the barn and then put the auger in the barn and take that 1 ton and back and fill it up.
The orange one?
Yeah, that orange auger, but that grain trap.
The little one. Okay.
Yeah, no, that other one was a 2 ton. This is I have no idea what year it is. It's a Hart-Parr.
Yep.
So back in the day, you couldn't get rubber because in the war years. So what they did is got airplane tires.
And they fit.
Yeah.
And those are the original rims on that, right? Or they look to be.
I would think so. They've been modified. They were so many ply they hardly needed any air.
I guess so, yeah.
And then they must have modified them to keep the tire on. But I can remember riding with Dad on the back. And I'd be sitting there and he'd go into a slough or something with stinkweed.
Yeah.
And the tires started spinning and you could smell that stinkweed.
Oh.
You know, it's a kind of a different smell, but so that's I'm 72. So I don't know, I wouldn't be very old then.
No. Yeah, what a massive engine on that thing.
Yeah.
It's cool that they got the Hart-Parr stamped right in the side of it.
Yeah.
So that
Spokes and wheels.
yeah. And that was, and it does have the small Oliver in there, and then
Yeah,
the next one just is Oliver.
Oliver was bought out Hart-Parr.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a 90. So what they called this was a 90 Oliver after.
Okay.
And those are both 80s.
Okay.
This was one of our original ones, and then I bought this from another fella. Brought it home from Hazelett. I said, boy, this is great at 50 bucks. Bring it home and the block was cracked.
Oh. Well,
So it's sad.
you got 50 bucks of scrap steel there, I'll tell
Well,
you.
that's true. Yeah. So this was a Delco engine. It put out 32 volt.
Okay.
So it was in the basement. And of course they had the exhaust hose going out the side.
Yep.
So when there was no wind, which is unbelievable in Saskatchewan, they'd fire this up to get power.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So that's like that, as referred to as a Delco light plant, I believe.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when the wind charger wasn't charging and you needed your batteries charged, you would fire that up.
Yeah, and in the basement they had a room designated to wet batteries.
Okay.
Like with the big, and then they would.
They were glass?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they were actually glass.
And that's an old original truck before your time.
Yeah, we actually drove that up here and shut it off. I can remember that. You know, it's too bad back in the day that we didn't have some place to put it inside.
Oh, it would be, yeah.
You know, it was.
It looks like
And
somebody.
I always remember Dad saying, "Yeah," and it had the Ruxo rear end in it. I have no idea what that is.
Ruxo.
Ruxo.
I don't know what that would be either.
No. Here's the 3-bottom plow. This is a disc. That's something you don't see often. It's not the shears, but look, it's got the discs.
Okay.
Disc plow.
And that help. Oh, it's actually just discs. Yeah. No.
Yeah, just
no.
discs.
Yeah.
There's no plow shears. So the old fellas that look at this video would probably be familiar with that.
I'm sure we'll have people commenting saying what brand some stuff is too.
I'm surprised somebody hasn't stole the radiator. Like, I think they're a lot of copper in them, probably.
I would think so.
Yeah. So these old wagons, we used to haul water with this. We had a water tank on it.
Okay.
But what I did is a lot of these old wagon wheels, I put them up in the loft in my barn.
Okay.
And I said to one of the neighbors, I said, yeah, I put the wheels up in the loft. He says, you should have did that 20 years ago. But, you know, they're good. And there's a 49 Pontiac, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the grill off that DeSoto.
Is that what that is? No, it's Pontiac. That's a nice emblem. Surprised that isn't
That's
gone.
a Plymouth DeSoto. That's off of that 50 DeSoto there.
Okay.
It got dragged over here somehow. But I've still got the hood ornament with the DeSoto with the face lights up.
Okay.
Kind of neat.
That is neat. Someone did some target practice with these windows, I think.
Yeah, everybody's taking a shot at it. Look at the chrome horn and stuff, eh?
Yeah. And that's how you would use the horn, right? You would just push on that rocker and that would activate it?
Yeah, on the rim.
It's actually not in too bad a shape.
Pontiac was a native name, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because that's the head of the Pontiac one.
For sure.
Yeah.
And this one, what was this one modified for, Gary?
This is actually an 80 Oliver too, and it's called a Farmhand.
Okay.
So they put them on here, and it would go up about 21 feet. And, you know, we did lots of things. It had two attachments that actually had 4x4s with spikes that we could load loose hay with.
Yep.
Put it in a rack, take it down to the barn, lift it up, put it into the loft.
I'm sure
And that's a hydraulic pump. It was PTO driven.
Yes.
So these didn't have live PTO.
Yep.
So every time you stopped and pushed on the clutch, it would stop.
Yep.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
This is a 1955 Plymouth Savoy.
Savoy.
I think it was a cheaper model. Anyway, my neighbor had it, and he dented up the front end. He said, Gary, do you want to buy it? I saw the tires on it, looked at them. Yeah, I'll give you $20. Drove it home, and it had 2-ply sidewall. They weren't worth a damn.
Yeah, but you had a whole car for $20 and you drove it home.
Yeah.
You can't even buy a wheel for that now.
Exactly. There's a 1952 Plymouth Cranbrook, they called it. My dad bought that brand new in Cabri from Cease Cushing. So I was born in 52, so that was the same age as me, I guess.
Wow.
And we used to chase cows with it.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
they got out.
Yeah.
And Dad, of course, he just was up in the air about this nice Holstein cow got out. The brakes didn't work. He was just going to bump her. He broke her back leg, and that was. I felt so bad about that.
I would too, yeah.
3-speed standard, 3 in the tree. It had that flathead 6-cylinder.
Okay.
And I think we had the motor changed and put an industrial in it. So the motor was just like new. It hadn't had hardly any on it. Yeah, man,
She's just original, just left. It's in really good shape, actually. Not much rust on it at all.
Yeah, coming from Ontario, you guys have noticed that.
Yep. Yeah, that one, the Savoy, it actually has a nice front end on it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But you said, that's where he punched it in over there. That's when you bought it.
Yeah. Because they took it, it wasn't roadworthy or whatever. He never wanted to get it fixed.
Yeah.
So we have one of the doctors in Swift Current named Savoy. I was going to always take the nameplate off and give it to him.
And these were just all granaries up here?
Yeah, they were all granaries that I had down in the yard. I said, should I take them and burn them or put them up here for storage and for barn swallows? They stay out of the yard because they just love this.
Oh, that's a good trick. So
Oh yeah, they just love that. They've got nests in there like.
And then they stay out of your barn.
Yeah,
and
well,
just
they don't
everywhere.
go in the barn. They're usually try to get. Well, there's one in the house on the east side, but they love to get into my Quonset.
Okay.
Be a smorgasbord.
Yeah.
Lots of places. Yeah. And then here's the Massey Harris swather. We turned that into a double swath attachment because some of the crops were so terrible, like 15 bushel to the acre, and then we dump one swath onto the other, go to 15, and then put another 16 on top of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah. called a double swath.
And those are just a couple old combines that you retired.
Yeah, this one, that one there was my very first 6601. I bought it, and it's a 74 model, I think, or a 70 model.
Okay.
And then the neighbor had one. I thought, oh, I better buy it. And I just put 300 acres and blew the straw walker out of it. So that wasn't a good buy.
Not a good buy.
Good for parts.
Good for parts, yeah. Oh, there's actually a third one back there too, or something.
That's a 96.
Okay.
That was my first pull type. We had an International 140 sold at my uncle's auction sale, and the straw walkers were packed with beards, Durham beards. Terrible.
And this
here's the 50 DeSoto.
okay.
So it had a kind of an ivory type something on the steering wheel, not all one, but it actually had a you push it and it would pick a station out for you.
Okay, like
Yeah.
it was an auto range
Yeah,
finder, like
yeah.
all the
It
new
would
stuff.
pick all the good. Yeah, just push a button and it would pick out a station. I don't know what they called it.
Just like a seek feature in a new vehicle where you hit it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that
actually-
was state of the art back then.
No kidding.
Yeah, look at the grill and that thing.
Yeah. So that was kind of the luxury of the Plymouth, like the DeSoto. You know, like a Cadillac and
Yeah, like a
Chevy.
Ford and Lincoln. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay.
So that Swather, I bought it brand new in 1974.
Okay.
The only place it was good was when the crop was good. If it was a poor crop, it was terrible. I went down to John Deere. I wanted a Versatile. They were really, really a good Swather. Couldn't get one. So I went into Clint Houston and John Deere. He says, yeah, I got one here. He says, how about we make a deal? Double or nothing. I said, no, Clint.
No.
I'll buy it, because I know my luck, I'd be paying double. Other ones are old classic. What is it? 89 old.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, not a 1988, 89 old, isn't it? Yeah. That was a great car.
A lot of miles on that thing.
Oh, we put 500K on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 53 2-ton Chevy.
Okay. And this
That
was
from my stepdad, and it steered so bad he called it the pig truck
the big truck.
because it was so hard to steer.
And that was an old grain truck.
Yeah.
And the
And
size.
then I took the sides off, and then I had so many rocks,
Okay.
so I loaded rocks and hauled rocks with it back in the day. It's a 292 in it.
292. Okay. And how long has this truck been parked here, you think?
Probably 20 years.
Okay. And you drove it here?
Oh yeah. It probably still turns over. See, it's the overhead valves
Yep.
on you.
Yeah. Bit of grease around that thing, or years of oil and
Yeah.
dust build up in there.
It probably needs a motor job because it wasn't running all that great.
And it was green originally. Did you guys paint it red?
I
or-
didn't. Yeah, it
Okay.
probably
It
was
must have
green,
been
but
red
sure it
and then
was.
faded
Yeah,
to
they painted
orange.
it red.
Oh, the old battery's still in there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What, a 6 volt? Yeah.
Yeah. Smell the gas.
Oh yeah, that's where the battery went, didn't it?
Yeah, under the floor in there, I believe.
Oh, that's a big one.
It is a big one. I'm sure the 292 took a little bit more to turn over than the other ones.
They even had
Jeez.
signal lights on it.
Oh yeah, it did.
That was probably put on after.
I think so. What do we
'Cause I
got?
know our 50 Dodge, we had to do that.
36,269 miles.
Well,
Would have been miles back then.
oh, definitely.
And this was a dump bed.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
yeah.
it has a hoist on it.
Yeah. It's in good shape.
Yeah, it was a single acting. You know what I mean? You pumped it up and then it came down cold.
By itself.
Yeah, single acting.
So it only went one way. Yeah.
Yeah, pumped oil up and then it freewheeled down.
Freewheel down, yeah. All right, thank you for watching, and this is another episode of Western Canada Classics done. I really hope you guys enjoyed Gary's stories, and I was thankful for him to come around and walk around and tell all the stories. It's nice to hear the history and nice to see this stuff recorded before it's all gone, because who knows, you never know when this stuff is going to go to scrap, and now we got it on video and it's preserved in history. So thanks again, and tune in for our next episode.